Hey everyone, I got a really exciting video for you today. I actually have somebody that I stalked on social media. We'll get into the actual post that kind of sparked this, but let's welcome Kimba Garcia to the show. How you doing, Kimba?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, excellent. You're an inspiration to so many. You have no idea, and we'll get into that October 1st post in a minute. But why don't you talk about what you and Robby do in this world of real estate investing, where you are in the country? Let's introduce the world to you.
Okay, well, I am Kimba Garcia, and I am the co-owner of RKG. Actually, we have RKG Roofing and Construction, and then also RKG Renovations. And I do own that with my husband, Robby, and we are located in the Dallas-Fort Worth area here in Texas.
Very, very cool. And I just want to make sure, you can never assume in this business. When you say renovations, would I just genericize that as flips, or are like your flips, or are you doing renovation for other investors perhaps?
We are currently doing renovations for other investors. We also do renovations like through fire claims. So we do renovations for some insurance work for fire and flood. And then we also do retail renovations. So our renovation kind of spreads a little bit broad, but we do predominantly cater to fix and flip and fix and hold investors.
Yeah, very cool. And that's definitely what we're going to get into. Why don't we talk about how long you've been in business, some of the projects you've done, and get a little bit more about roofing and renovation, just so people can get the scale and scope of what you and Robby have built.
Sure. Well, we are actually pretty new to business. We've been in business for 3.5 years. And during that time, we now have 4 in-house renovation crews, and then we also have 2 in-house roofing crews. We kind of run those as 2 separate, I'd say separate entities of our company, but they're right together, hand in hand, for sure. But we really started, the renovation side is kind of what got RKG going. Now we like our roofing side, but most of our passion is in our renovation side, because that's where my husband's passion lied at the time. He's grown up building houses, and he really wanted to get back into residential construction. He had moved over into more advertising space construction. He was certified to do rope access and did a lot of billboard construction and things like that it kept him on the road a lot, keeping our family separated a lot. So we decided that we were going to start taking a little bit more advantage of his talent in that direction, and that's when we started really getting into renovations.
Very, very cool. And let's talk about that October 1st message, because it was so well written. It was you could both see the passion, and the one phrase that always gets me is people say we're lucky, right? When they look at what you have today after 3.5 years and the great before and afters that you're producing. But let's talk about how it all started, right? It's not easy, right?
No, it's not. And it's not something until I think recently that I've started opening up a little bit more about, because on the journey here, I wanted people to see us as successful. So I didn't want to share every grieving pain that I had along the way. I wanted to make sure that I kind of built to, and not that we're done building, but
yeah,
I wanted to build to a certain platform before I started of course it's hard. And once, I didn't want to be the crier the whole step of the way, and tried to be a good sport about it. But now when I look back, it's more of the story. The truth behind how it got started is really what paints the picture of where this luck comes from, I guess. And so now it is a good, really good organic story to share. And the thing is, my background is in hair. I was a hairstylist for 10 years in a small town, and I was very well known for that. So my client base, I could stay booked I could do as much hair as I wanted to book out, and that was a blessing. I had a studio built from home, and that was a blessing. I'll get into why that matters in a minute. But just long story short, I did a lot of hair.
Yeah.
So when we very first started RKG, I could pay the bills. Where we lived, on my hair income, I could pay the bills. Him coming off the road we were going to take a cutback in income, we thought at that moment, but our family was going to be together. And I remember sitting down, writing it out on paper with him, like, man, if you could just build 2 fences a week, just 2 fences a week with your own hands, we're fine, with what I make doing hair. And so we kind of jumped into RKG, and Robby was I mean, him and a helper or sometimes a couple helpers would actually go out and do these projects. But what we did, and I threw on a polo and helped with this too. I was always I tell people I wasn't even on the sidelines. I wasn't even like at the bottom of the company. I was like on the sidelines of the company, because when it came time to, let's run around and just introduce, I mean, we really started from working under other GCs. We didn't have a brand. We didn't have marketing. We didn't have an infrastructure. We had Robby, a hammer, some talent, and we really started going out and marketing to other companies that are just like us now and saying, just let us do your work. Just give us your project. We'll take really good care of you. Just let us handle it. And we did that, and I started watching RKG Renovations reputation take off, and my pride got there a little bit because I got to watch the GC stick his name on it. And then he would take like 40% of the profit away. And so we would be left with like no money or glory, So I'm like, but it was fun. We enjoyed it, but I definitely started opening my mind to the potential that was there. And so while Robby was out hustling in the field, I was at home, and after 10, 12, 14-hour days doing hair, I would sit down and start studying. I studied business, infrastructure, marketing. I mean, I YouTubed, audiobooks. I took some real estate classes, just did all kinds of things to really start teaching me the business. So by the time it was February of 2017, and I told Robby, hey, we're never going to make anything of this unless I'm involved full time. I'm putting the scissors down. I'm jumping over. And he was terrified because hair kept the lights on. We weren't really making any money with RKG, but I saw the money that could be made if we could just form it right and come up with the right plan. And it was crazy because there were sometimes he would come and just be like, out of my hair money, hey, is there $200 or $300 I can have to pay the day guys for the day? I mean, it was really feeding our family. So for me to make that jump was really scary for us at the time, and for him especially, but not as much for me because I really believed in what I had been learning, and I knew that this was doable for us. So the next year, our revenue more than doubled, and then the next year it tripled. But we've been in business for 3.5 years now, and now this year we are sitting right over $6 million in revenue, which I plan to double again next year.
Wow. And
now that the infrastructure to my company is built, I think I know that I can.
Yeah.
So it's a good place. It's a good place to be, and that sacrifice and jump was really worth it. And I think that that's something that really holds a lot of people back, is just the fear of what if I leave something that I don't know and then I go out there and fail. And my mindset is kind of like, what if I don't? What if I just stay here and stay mediocre forever? What if I don't take this chance? Then what?
Yeah.
And so it was better for me to just dive in and, work it out. And I'm really glad that we did, because we built it into now over 60 people. RKG feeds over 60 people's families, and we provide about 60 jobs to people, and we're growing at a significant growth rate a year. So I'm really proud of where it's landed.
Oh yeah. And you should be. Really why I wanted you on this channel is because of those couple of pivotal moments in your story, right? Because we talked to lots of real estate investors, and a lot of them are fearful, nervous, they have anxiety. So the first one for you was a family decision, right? You could pay the bills again, cut, with scissors, right? Doing your thing. The first thing is, honey, I want you home, right? You're on the road too much, raising the kids by myself. I like you, stay home, kind of thing. And by the way, just go build 2 fences and we're good, right? So that's, we don't need an extravagant lifestyle, right? Just come home. I want your family time's more important, right? That was kind of that first decision. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. Was.
Yeah. Then you're doing your day job with your hair. I don't know if you call it hair brand or stylist brand, which is rocking and rolling, paying the bills, but you're not, I guess you haven't really made progress, on the business, right? He's now doing 2 fences, just to use the same story, right? He's busy and he's home, but you're seeing the profit leave to others, and others getting the glory from your work. You're like, all right, I see what you guys are doing.
Exactly.
Yeah. But again, that had to be risky, right? Because again, putting down the scissors, you know, had to be risky. But I want to go back to before you put down the scissors, because people need to realize this, is you did your homework. You talked about YouTube and audiobook,
Yeah.
and, right? And you, frankly, you sacrificed sleep because you didn't cut your hours. You just, you know, Kimba's going to stay up later and, you know, invest time. Let's talk about, because that's what people don't get, right? Is you can still bust your butt during the day in your day job, doing whatever it is. You just have to sacrifice in the morning or evening. So let's talk. Was that natural?
You've got to fit it in. And I was, you know, he was out of town. I had 3 kids to raise. I had books full of hair. But when he came back in town and he was putting in all these hours in the field, there was a lot of times Robby would just do all the work just to save the labor budget. So when I say I was watching my husband literally work 16 to 20-hour days, the man is a horse. He will stay until the job is done. And fortunately, I really couldn't sleep until he got home anyway. So, and I felt like I'm not just going to be snoozed up on the couch while he's out there busting butt, right? So I'm going to be putting forth, because I knew where we could be if we just knew a couple basic foundations. And I really did start pouring into that. I mean, I didn't all the way go through with getting my real estate license, but I took the whole class. I just don't have a need for a license in my hand, but I wanted to know the business. And so I paid and I took the class, Audible books for days and days and days. And then really digging into also insurance restoration. I bought into a program, Storm Ventures training program. And that's really good for anybody that's in roofing out there. But I didn't just do the entrepreneur course. I took the entrepreneur course, the marketing course, the admin course, the salesperson's course, but all of them that would have to do. That way, when I jumped in, I had a really strong mentality on what I was going to be building. And that was a huge aspect too. It's not that I jumped in and then in that first year, everything just instantly became successful. It was the groundwork that I had been building up to that year. And maybe nobody else got to see my plan, but I had spent the time to really construct it out and really make sure that I was at least familiar with everything that I needed to know. And what I wasn't an expert in, I had a resource and a vendor or something, a partner or something to be out, you know, like taxes aren't my thing. So I found a CPA, for example. But I did learn a lot to do with business, enough to come in. And, you know, I really started structuring our sales team and really getting our brand. Like RKG is very recognizable in our market. And that's something I really came in and did hot and heavy with just, branding and marketing, networking, everything. And so now it's been, you know, we even have some GCs that'll still reach out to us and say, hey, will y'all take on our projects? And it's beautiful because now we're like, nope. We only do RKG projects and we're too busy with our own stuff. I would never sub you out, my guys. They're busy with me. And that's a great place to be at because we used to be the sub for the other guy.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's cool.
Awesome. Yeah, something you put out there that I want to just hit again is you actually, Robby, and you have 3 children, right? It's not like you were two, you know, married. It's not like you were a couple with no kids and like you can just, you know, do whatever. You had kids to deal with, right? What's the range? Like, what was their range back when you started this? So 2017, like were they 4, 6, and 8, or where were they in ranges when you were making this hard decision?
So let's say 3 years ago, I guess that makes Peyton, he's 12 now, so 9. Blaze was 2.
Oh,
so 2, 5, and 9.
So again, people, think about what she just shared. She cut hair for, call it 8 to 10 hours a day. She raised 3 kids, 2, 5, and 9, and she went after it in the evenings. That's what it takes sometimes. When people say we're lucky, it depends on how they say it, but sometimes it pisses me off. I'll just be honest.
Yeah.
I did something every day for 10 years that most people won't when I looked at my market. And you did the same thing, right? When people call you lucky and they don't realize you had 3 kids, you cut hair for 12 hours a day, you were, I'm guessing, standing. That can't be fun. And then you also spent 3 to 4 hours learning. I mean, to call you lucky is frankly insulting. A little bit.
I try to look at it as, you know, they forgive them, Father, they know not what they do, kind of thing. You know, it's one of those people, like people that have never been, and I'm not saying this to be derogatory or anything, but people that have never built anything don't know what it's like to build anything. If you've never broken your own home, you don't know what that feels like. You can only assume.
Yeah.
And I do think that sometimes they think, And I even take partial fault for this because it's, do I make it look too easy? Do I not share enough of my pain with you guys? And like I said, I do try not to. There's only these couple posts that I'll throw out there every once in a while that's like, hey guys, look, from, you know, and I'll usually hashtag like Boss Lady Uncut. Like, this is what it really looks like, you know. And I'd like to share those moments with people because I do like people to understand that. One thing I like people to understand is there's literally nothing special about me. And I don't mean that in a way. I'm a really cool person. I'm a really nice girl. But I came from a lower middle class family. I was not put through college. I was a 17-year-old teenage single mother. There was nothing. I was set up. If you would have known me when I was 17 or 18 years old, I was geared to fail. I had nobody there with a trust fund to pay for me to go to school. In fact, I put myself in a situation where I was a single mom having to get through hair school while working a bartending job to support my son. So I think that hard work always came natural to me because I had got myself in a situation so young I had no choice but to figure things out. But it really, you know, whenever people say a lot of times, and I'm always going to put out in some of my groups, you know, well, what's holding you back from your goal? What's holding you back from your dream? And the answers that people come up with, I find myself just crossing off the board as invalid, and not in a mean way, but to say those aren't reasons, those are excuses, because I had every single one of those. I had the child I was supporting. I know what it's like to work 2 jobs at a time just to make the ends meet. I know what it's like to have no starting capital to try to start a business with. But where there's a will, there's a way, and you'll figure it out if you want to bad enough. And I think that that's something that anybody that has a real vision really needs to grasp onto, especially when they're getting involved with real estate, because there are so many options in real estate that if you're just going to sit around with your thumb up your rear the whole time, hoping that someday you're going to take this off, you're never going to.
I couldn't have said it better. Very well said. So really, the last thing that's very clear with you and Robby is you have been in this together since day one. And that's, I don't know if you know this, but that's not always common, right? Sometimes there's competing forces. Like, for example, you know, it's not in your case, but let's just play it out, right? Let's just say you were the main breadwinner, right? Which you were, cutting hair, and your significant other, Robby, in this case, is so nervous, so freaked out that you know, like adamant, like, no, you can't do that. You can't stop. You can't, you know, how is it that you two are in so lockstep all the time? It seems like.
You know, I think we make that look easy too. Robby and I have, I do. Robby and I have definitely had to learn. We've both had to grow personally and in business, and we've had to heighten our communication skills a lot because we are actually very, very, very different people. To start it off with, when I said that I was going to quit, I think Robby knows me well enough to know that he's not going to tell me not to, and that's going to play. It was just kind of like, he saw the fire under me. I mean, I'm like, I'm ready, coach, put me in. Like, I don't think it was optional for him to tell me no there. But a lot of our differences are what have led to a lot of our success. So we have tried to work through those. I'm very empathetic, and I just, you know, I run the business a little bit different, but I'm more of the inspiration, the motivation, the branding and all that. And Robby's kind of the workhorse. He's the muscle. He's keeps production running, and everything like that. So there are definitely times when I've had to step back and realize what his mindset, what his strengths bring to the table are a lot different than mine. And I think that that's important, whether you're married to your business partner or not. But to be able to open yourself up enough to say, hey, you know what? I have a brain that has really great things to bring to the table, and then he has a totally different brain. If you don't choose to use that to be a team, I'm like, we could have a bigger brain. We can have more strengths in the boat. We can accomplish more if we appreciate each other's differences, because where I'm weak, he is not, and vice versa. And that worked out really well for us. Now, there was, like I said, communication boundaries that we had to set through that so that these differences and ideas didn't become confrontation regularly, and we could keep moving on. But but that's really the way that I think that we've done it, is to stop and step back and say, hey, you know what you bring to the table has soared us so far, and what I bring to the table. And so there's just kind of certain areas now where, you know, that's a Robby thing and that's a Kimba thing, and we just trust each other's calls on it.
Well, I think you're bringing up a good point, and really where I was hoping this is going to go, and that's communication, right? You are in a relationship, you're married, you have kids, and even if you weren't doing the business, you would hope communication is a part of your, you know, your togetherness. And then when you throw money and the stress of a business on top of that, y'all better be talking, right? So, so when you first had the harebrained idea to throw down the scissors, I'm curious, did you just come to Robby and say, I'm quitting on Friday, Friday's my last appointment? Or did you kind of set it up like, hey, I'm thinking about, and, you know, that transition?
I have been I'm thinking about for like a month and a half.
Okay, so you were teasing it out a little bit.
Yeah. And then it just came to a day, and this is just how I work, where it just came the day that I was like, hey, I'm not taking any more appointments. In fact, the wedding I have on my books, I'm canceling it. I cannot. And the reason why I did that is because I'm a firm believer, and you only have so much energy. You only have so much money. You only have so much energy. This is a spendable asset. And when I saw myself, so much of my energy was going into hair, I started realizing how that same energy could be pushing for our company, our brand that we were building together. And I started seeing those rewards. I mean, the first month was tough, but the rewards started coming in already month 2. And that's because I changed all my energy, all my passion, all my soul started going into that. I was really struggling across the board to say, oh, kids get this much energy, hair gets this much energy, studying gets this much energy, I'll market over here if I have time to. And I felt really disoriented and all around the board. And whenever I was just honed in on one goal, we've really been able to grow that goal accordingly. So I'm glad I did it. It was the right, and Robby will tell you too, it was the right move.
It was the right move, but it was really uncomfortable for a couple of weeks, I'm sure.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So I'm curious, where are you and Robby taking this thing? You're already, you know, doing great business. The team is growing fast, it sounds like. Are you the what kind of person that does a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plan, or are you just like, nope, double it every year? I mean, what is Kimba thinking?
As far as our DFW market goes, our plan is definitely, we'd like to grow our renovation side slow and steady. So we did just kind of have a meeting and discuss, hey, it's time to start bringing on a couple more crews to take on a couple more projects, because our workload's getting there to handle that. So slow and steady here. And the reason for that is RKG doesn't just do house. I mean, and I know maybe a lot of contractors say this, but our end work it's quality finish out work. It's high end stuff. I mean, a lot of the renovations that we do, I mean, we'll hit the market for maybe a little under $1 million. It's not just slap up some paint. I mean, when you see baseboards meeting with walls, it's going to be a crisp line there. I mean, our finish out quality is so detailed. And even when we do lower grade homes, that's still the finish out quality that we expect at all times. With that being said, we have to be very particular about our crews and how fast we grow them, because we don't have time to have a lot of sloppy work in. The guys we have are awesome and have been working together for years. So you have to kind of bring them in a little at a time, train them up to our standards, and then we just have to grow one step at a time like that. On our roofing side, the goal is definitely to keep growing in revenue every year, but I do have very soon plans to open, where our office is in Fort Worth right now. I have plans to open a Dallas office, maybe in Aubrey, maybe around Aubrey. And I've also been brainstorming about what I want to do about reaching out to other markets. There's obviously great, with storm restoration, there's obviously great markets throughout throughout the United States. So, you know, Colorado being one of we love that state, and that would be a cool place to go. But I keep trying to figure out how I'm going to swing that and still keep my family together. So that's still my main, because I won't, like, RKG was founded on keeping my family together. So the last thing I want is mom and dad to have to be in Colorado 2 weeks out of the month. So for that reason, I'm actually thinking about maybe in another couple of years, start building out a franchise. And I think being able to put together our infrastructure, our systems, everything that we've spent years building, maybe we could just partner up with other entrepreneurs in other markets and do more of a franchisee situation. So I can stay home and run the boat from here.
Nice.
But yeah, we'll see.
Very, very cool. So where can people find, I mean, I've seen them, but where can people go to find RKG examples, before and afters, and follow you, and more importantly, reach out to you if they want to get some work?
Definitely. So my favorite place for people to reach out to us is on our Facebook page. We're very active on Facebook, and we do giveaways on Facebook and stuff. So definitely check out our Facebook page. You can just find that RKG Roofing, Renovations, and Restorations. It's kind of long. Or www.facebook.com/RKG LLC will take you there also. We're also on Instagram. That's just RKG_LLC. But then we do also have our website. So if you're interested in some before and after project portfolios of some of our renovations that we've done, definitely head over to RKGRenovations.com. And then our roofing side of things is on RKGRoofingandConstruction.com.
Very, very cool. Again,
but if you want to get work done, call us.
Yeah, go ahead.
Phone number.
Yeah,
that's fastest. 817-320-1217. So Nicole will pick up. She's nice and get you hooked up with somebody to come do a bid.
Yeah. One more time. What's the number to call Nicole? Because she's nice.
She's very nice. Yes. 817-320-1217.
That's awesome. Look for some phone calls, Nicole. So I just want to thank you for this. I know some stranger reached out to you on a post. I appreciate you giving us a shot. This has been so much fun.
I appreciate it.
Inspiration, couples working together, communication. And again, back to your post. It's not as easy as people make it look, right? You weren't lucky. You put in the work. So congratulations to you and Robby.
Thank you so much.
You got it.